He was standing on the pitch, watching everyone else play. Not because he wasn't talented, not because he didn't deserve it, but because nobody fully trusted him yet. Too small, too young, not ready. That's what they said. While other players got chances, he waited. While others made mistakes and still played, he sat on the bench, and slowly a dangerous question started forming. What if he never gets his moment? Because in football, talent is not enough. Timing decides everything. Before the trophies, before the headlines, before people started calling him one of the best midfielders in the world, Phil Foden was just a kid in England. Quiet, focused, not loud, not flashy, just different. The kind of player you don't notice immediately done, but once you do, you can't ignore. At Manchester City's academy, he was special. Coaches saw it, teammates felt it. The way he moved, the way he saw passes others couldn't, the way he controlled the ball in tight spaces. It wasn't normal. It was precise, clean, intelligent. But here's the problem. Manchester City wasn't just any club. It was full of world-class players, established stars, experienced midfielders, the kind of players who don't just get replaced. So even if you're talented, you wait. And waiting is the hardest part. Because every day you train, every day you improve, every day you prove yourself. But when match day comes, you're still on the bench. Watching, learning, frustrated. Because deep down, you know you're ready. But the world doesn't. And that's where most young players lose patience. They leave. They chase opportunities, they look for easier paths. But Phil Foden didn't. He stayed. And that decision changed everything. Because while others wanted quick success, he trusted the process, he trusted the system, and most importantly, he trusted himself. But trust alone doesn't guarantee anything. Because time doesn't wait. Opportunities don't come easy. And football is ruthless. There were moments where it looked like he would always be the next big thing, but never actually become it. Always close. Always promising, but never fully there. And that's dangerous, because potential, without opportunity, fades. And slowly, people started asking questions. Is he overrated? Why isn't he playing? Is he really that good? The same talent that once made him special now became a doubt. And that changes everything. Because once people start questioning you, it becomes harder to prove them wrong. But here's what they didn't see. Behind the scenes, something was building. Not fast, not loud, but powerful. Because while the world was focused on minutes played, he was focused on improvement. Training sessions became his stage. Small chances became his opportunity. Every touch mattered. Every pass counted. Because he knew he wouldn't get many chances. So when they come, they have to be perfect. And that kind of pressure either breaks you or builds you. And Phil Foden was being built. Then came the moments. Small at first, a few minutes here, a late substitution there, nothing big. Nothing special, but enough. Enough to show glimpses. A quick turn, a sharp pass, a smart movement. Little things. But football is built on little things, and slowly, those little moments started turning into something bigger. Because once a manager sees consistency, trust begins. And trust changes everything. Pep Guardiola doesn't give chances easily. He demands perfection, positioning, awareness, decision-making at the highest level. And for a young player to earn his trust means something. And Phil Foden started earning it. Not by talking, not by complaining, but by performing. Every time he stepped on the pitch, he made something happen. Not flashy, not dramatic, but effective. And that's what elite football is about. Effectiveness. Because at this level, simple is powerful. And Foden mastered that. But still, he wasn't the main player, not yet, because there were still stars ahead of him. Still competition, still pressure, and the real test was coming, because getting into the team is one thing. Staying there is something else. And that's where most players fail, because once expectations rise, mistakes cost more, pressure increases, and suddenly every game feels like a final. But this time, something was different. He wasn't the quiet kid anymore. He wasn't just potential anymore. He was ready. And when the opportunity finally came, he didn't hesitate. He didn't freeze. He didn't doubt. He took it. And that's when everything started changing. And once that moment came, he didn't give it back, because opportunities at this level are not given twice. You either take them or you disappear. And Phil Foden understood that better than anyone. The first real chance he got, he played like he had been there for years. No panic, no fear, just control. Sharp touches, quick decisions, intelligent movement. The kind of performance that doesn't scream for attention, but forces people to notice. And suddenly things started shifting. The same fans who questioned him started trusting him. The same critics who doubted him started watching him differently, because now it wasn't about potential anymore. It was about performance. Game by game, he grew. Not dramatically, not overnight, but consistently. And consistency is dangerous, because once a player becomes consistent, he becomes reliable. And once he becomes reliable, he becomes important. And that's exactly what happened. He was no longer the young talent on the bench. He was part of the system, part of the starting 11, part of something bigger. But this is where the real pressure begins. Because once you become important, expectations don't just rise. They explode. Now it's not about proving yourself once. It's about doing it again. And again. And again. Every game. Every moment. And that's where most players struggle. Because consistency at the top level is one of the hardest things in football. But Foden didn't slow down. He adapted, improved, evolved. The same player who once waited for minutes now controlled games, finding spaces others couldn't see, creating chances others couldn't imagine, making decisions before defenders could react. It wasn't just talent anymore. It was intelligence. And intelligence in football is unstoppable, because speed can be matched, strength can be challenged, but intelligence controls everything. And that's what made him different. He didn't need to run faster than everyone. He didn't need to be stronger than everyone. He just needed to think faster. And once that clicked, everything changed. Big games started coming, important matches, moments where pressure defines players. And in those moments, he delivered. Goals when it mattered, assists when it counted. Performances that didn't just help the team. They decided outcomes, and slowly, a new identity formed. Not young player, not academy talent, but something else. A star, a key player, one of the most important pieces in one of the best teams in the world. And that's not luck, that's earned. Through patience, through discipline, through belief. Because remember where this started. On the bench. Doubted, ignored, waiting. And now, controlling games at the highest level. That's not normal. That's transformation. But here's the part most people don't understand. Reaching the top is only half the story. Staying there is the real challenge. Because once you're at the top, everyone is watching. Everyone is analyzing. Everyone is waiting for you to slip. Because football doesn't forgive. One bad run, one drop in form, and the same people who praised you start questioning again. So the real test was never about getting there. It was about staying there. And that's where mindset matters most, because talent can take you to the top. But mentality keeps you there. And Phil Foden had both, because he never forgot what it felt like to wait, to be doubted, to be ignored. And that memory, that experience, that struggle became his advantage. Because when you've already been overlooked, you don't fear pressure, you use it. And that's exactly what he did. Every game became an opportunity, not to prove others wrong, but to prove himself right. And that's a different level of confidence, a dangerous level, because now there's no hesitation, no doubt. No fear, just control. And maybe that's the real story. Not that he became a star, but how he became one. Through patience, through waiting, through trusting a process that most players would have abandoned. Because in a world where everyone wants success fast, he chose to build it slowly. And that made all the difference. Because slow growth creates strong foundations, and strong foundations create lasting success. And now, when you watch him play, it all makes sense. The calmness, the intelligence, the control, it's not random, it's built. Built through years of waiting, years of learning, years of believing when nobody else did. And that's what separates players, not just talent, not just skill, but the ability to stay patient when everything around you tells you to rush. Because in the end, football doesn't reward the fastest. It rewards the smartest, the strongest mentally, the ones who don't break under pressure. And Phil Foden didn't break. He waited, he worked, he believed. And when his moment came, he took it and never gave it back. Because the same player who once sat on the bench is now controlling the game. And maybe that's the loudest statement of all.